Hello everybody, Jet here, and welcome to another Let's Talk Total War Troy, where we're going to be talking about Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae. Let's check. I am recording, sorry about that. Okay, so obviously his faction is Mycenae, and he is an epic warlord. And so who is he? At the onset of the Trojan War, godlike Agamemnon commanded the largest fleet ever to sail the Aegean Sea. Driven by an all-encompassing lust for power and glory, the king of the Mycenae rallied the many kingdoms of Achaea against Troy, determined to raze the fabled city to the ground in pursuit of his bloody ambition. The aging warrior still inspired awe on the battlefield, with his heavy armour and the mighty swing of his mace. His younger brother Menelaus shared a thirst for revenge against Paris, who had seduced the Spartan ruler's wife and fled across the waters with her. The Mycenaean leader's formidable will was the source of his hubris. In the Iliad, Homer recounts how Agamemnon, through arrogance and unyielding pride, offended Apollo himself, then provoked Achilles into withdrawing the support of his Myrmidons, with disastrous result. Anyway, let's watch the video.
Peggy 16.
King Agamemnon of Mycenae, far-sighted ruler, calls all Achaeans to war. Treacherous Troy will pay dearly for the theft of Helen, his brother's wife. With the finest Achaean generals beside him, his is the true voice of command.
Okay, so Achaean, not Achaean. Looks very Brian Coxey, but that could just be my brain filling in details. Play style here. A King Agamemnon, ruler of gold-rich Mycenae, has but one ambition: to become king of all the Achaeans. I will get it wrong every time. Agamemnon has the unique ability to create vassals from conquered states, or friends that acknowledge his superior power. Ooh, interesting. Through the lion's share, his unique mechanic, Agamemnon can extract a regular tribute from them, or enforce extraordinary demands on a whim. Interesting. I've never really been a huge fan of the vassal mechanics in Total War games, so if that's done well, that could be good. That's one thing I've always felt needed a little bit more work, because depending on how it works, because it's always been a little bit in wars, if you're fighting with a vassal, it can just get really annoying when they take territory you want. So we'll see. Agamemnon has an empire on his mind, and though king of men, he can rear his entourage of heroes and assign them to positions in court, which provide benefits to the realm and increase their loyalty to him. Oh, that looks like an interesting hit. So the start location. Wide-ruling Agamemnon can give but only one response to Queen Helen's abduction, and that is war. The slight to his brother's honour can undermine Agamemnon's own authority and jeopardize his ultimate ambition. Menelaus will have his full support in this endeavour, and together Troy will be made an example for all. But power at home must be secured before Agamemnon can embark on an overseas expedition. The warriors of Trinus wage war on Troezen, Mycenae's allies and vassals. This cannot stand. From his throne, Agamemnon must I keep highlighting that. So from his throne, Agamemnon must unite under his rule all the nearby lords and make the Trojans pay for their insult to him. So it doesn't actually really stay where we start, but I mean, it's going to be in Mycenae. And obviously we have some fun at home to deal with to start with, so you're not going to be able to just sail straight across to deal with. You're going to want to vassalize all the hostile tribes and things around you before you proceed to your war against Troy. Godlike so who is he for? Godlike Agamemnon is driven by an all-encompassing lust for power and glory, an ideal for those who relish in conquest and imposing their will. So he does sound like a fun one, very aggressive, very much about folk taking over others. Depending on the vassalization mechanics, we'll have to see that, because I've never been a huge fan of vassalization mechanics in the Total War games. I like them, don't get me wrong, they are useful, but I generally find it's actually annoying when you're at war with vassals because they take territory you want for yourself. There really needs to be a better way, certainly if you're fighting a war, where you can kind of divvy up the territory at the end of said war, and certainly as the war leader, not to want to use a paradox term, at the end of the war, maybe you should divvy everything up depending on who was involved and how much and who they were controlled with. And maybe if you don't divvy it up right, well, people should get annoyed at you. But that is a big change for how Total War games work. So that's maybe something a little step too far. But hopefully, we'll have to see how this vassal mechanic works. Anyway. But no, he does look an interesting one. Probably not going to be playing him at the start anyway, but we'll have a think. Let me know what you think of him down in the comments, guys. And if you obviously think I should play him, or who you think I should be playing at the start. As always, guys, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. Big thank you to my Patreon, because this whole thing, well, everything's helped by my Patreons, of course. My single Patreon at the moment. But anything to do with that really does help, because it helps getting equipment like the microphone you can kind of just see the very edge of here. I'm not actually going to touch it, and the webcam you're watching me on. But as always, thanks for watching, guys.